Hi guys, my name is Wayne Daniels. This is Daniels Film Studios, and I want to first give a warm welcome to you guys, as well as it is Christmas. Merry Christmas to all. Yeah, so let's get into the video. So I believe you've already seen two of my trailers about based on one movie, The Force, Nation of Law and Intelligence, as it says there. Yeah, and I've posted two trailers, a teaser trailer and an official trailer. So I know I've just posted these things and I haven't really gone into detail on what these movies about. All you might know is that it's a movie that I created, but I'll delve deeper into this. So this is the Force Nation of Law and Intelligence, which I'll be reviewing everything and showing you guys what the story is about and the concepts, what's going on, and tell me what you guys think, what's your thoughts about my film, what could have I placed in there, and what is already good in the film. So yeah, as we know, aspiring filmmakers can watch this video. Anyone who's interested in filmmaking, acting, whatsoever, or even creativity, please guys, put your comments below. Don't be shy. Let's grow this channel. Let's get into the video, I mean. Right, so let's get into the story, everyone. So, first we are introduced to a world that is ruled by children, as it is foretold that in this world of children, adults had been whisked and wiped off the face of the earth by aliens that we call the Silents. Now, the Force actually calls them the Beings, but because they didn't have a right name for it at the time, they called them the Beings. So they are actually known as the Silents for their spoken tones only other Silents could hear. Right. So after that, then we go with the main context of the film. So then we are introduced to three police officers who go out and are trying to arrest someone. But unfortunately, the criminal gets loose. And then they corner when they think they got the criminal. And then boom, smoke appears. And then the officer is then strangled to death. And then the film starts. And the officer then strangled to death and the film starts. And then we are introduced to Officer Regan, a kind, compassionate, and idealistic police officer working for the SHSA, which is Steel Hand of South Africa, the new police organization in Eldorado Park, capable of defending, protecting, and serving the people. Now, Officer Regan has a wife who we call Lucretia. That's her name. And then we got his daughter Ellie. So Ellie is a very kind, passionate girl and companionship of a friend. But as we know, the community is being rocked and things are just not safe anymore. So Officer Regan comes up with a plan to get her a babysitter, but someone who we can actually trust, not a regular person. The reason for this is because Officer Regan and his wife are both working for the SHSA, and because they are gone, no one is at home to look after little Ellie. So they are left to their own mindset. So Officer Regan not long takes out a robot. Well, we call it a robot, but he's not really a robot. Just more like a kid with powers, we can call him. So this kid with powers, his name is Zane. So Officer Regan powers him up and tells him to look after Ellie, gain her trust, and yeah. And then he goes out. As they shake hands with each other, the two share their first kind companionship of friends. So then now we have Officer Regan and his wife heading to the police station where they meet up with Chief Walker. With Chief Walker. So Chief Walker is definitely one of the bosses of the SHSA, and she doesn't really know what to do at first, but then Officer Regan gathers his potential and tells her that they can take on anything. That they can take on anything. Well, at least she thinks they can take on anything. And After reporting the case of earlier where the smoke bomb hit and they were straggling that officer you saw earlier, then Officer Regan decides to send out a squad with him. Yeah, Officer Walker then sends out a squad with him to go and recover what happened. And then it is shown after that that Ellie and Zane are actually practicing with each other and are actually becoming good friends as Zane attends to all of her services and assistance, showing that kind speck of kindness and companionship with each other. Then we have Officer Regan alongside his best friend, which I forgot to mention, Officer Anderson, or Mr. Anderson is what the movie will call it. So Officer Anderson is Regan's best friend and partner in crime. So what he's doing, so all three of them, all two of them head over there, and after that they discover someone unconscious, which is one of the officers who was there. And then he explains briefly to them when they take him to the police station that he is not feeling good and definitely has a headache at this time and survived unconscious for 3 days. And we'll get into that on a later video. Right. So after that whole thing happened, then we are introduced to Boss Ramos. Boss Ramos is the dealer, the main antagonist of the film. And he is not a cool guy. Well, he's definitely badass, not to lie. And then he definitely is making deals in the United States, and he comes to South Africa in El Dorado Park to start his drug trade. And then the criminals of the gangs then disagree with him, but he then overthrows their leader into submission, and he takes over the gangs, and now they work for him. And so he decides to target the SHSA if they get involved with any of his dealings. And so, after that, what Boss Ramos actually needs is Zane. Reason why he actually needs Zane is because he actually created Zane, miraculously created Zane. Or perhaps found Zane somewhere and now he wants Zane back. But then he looks at the little girl and that he could make a ransom to the SHSA if they ever try to take him down, which they would discover when Boss Ramos invades Officer Regan's home and proceeds to steal Officer Regan's daughter, until Zane swishes in and obviously kicks their asses. Until Officer Regan and Anderson get to the house after receiving a call about a mysterious blow blast that Zane blasted at them. And then they head in and start a big commotion, and then eventually start breaking out into shooting into engaging with violence against Officer Regan and Boss Ramos. So the two sides fight, and then as Officer Regan is about to take him down, they escape. But then they try to track down Ellie and Zane. Once Ellie and Zane get somewhere safe, it turns out it's not safe, and Boss Ramos and his guys come over. Yeah, Boss Ramos sends his guys to take Ellie and Zane away. Yeah, to capture Ellie and Zane. Unfortunately, they were successful in catching Ellie, but one of the bad guys did get taken down by Zane after he Zuka punched him, and then they take him into custody. And then Officer Regan actually questions the guy and asks him where's their base, who's their boss. They eventually find out that it's Boss Ramos causing all of the trouble, and then the police's main focus is to get Ellie back and put Boss Ramos behind bars.
Go, but tell me what you're gonna do. I said what's your name? I ask you what you're gonna do me.
So, as we move on, Boss Ramos is still on the loose, and they decide and the police start to split up and look for them. As they're splitting up and looking for Ellie, they eventually come across the Katie, where they may think that Zane and Ellie are by, and then they shut the Katie down and decide to proceed to look for them until they finally find Ellie and track the bad guys down and take two of the bad guys down, and then Regan then reunites with Ellie. And then everyone celebrates, but now Boss Ramos is the only target they need to get. So after a few weeks, they track Boss Ramos down again. Yeah, they track Boss Ramos down again. They track Boss Ramos down again, and then proceed to take him behind bars until he escapes once more. Now, I haven't explained that there's also a voice that's always been calling for Regan, and it's actually the voice of Octavia. We'll get into that later. So after that flash, Regan explains to Regan explains to Anderson that Zane should take over, that Zane should keep protecting Ellie, and that they can still find Boss Ramos until Zane gets a call from his mind. And then he walks away, and then he angrily gets up to a mountaintop, where he finds the man who has been calling him in his mind, Octavia. Not films. The leader of the whole world of children had called him. And after calling him, he informs him of who he is and stuff, but Regan knows nothing about it. Precisely because he doesn't really take it into consideration on who the leader is or who is this and that. But then he gets Octavia then tests him out and fights him until he's eventually almost victorious, until Octavia gets pity for him because he just slapped Octavia. And then Octavia sees he's worthy, but asks him one question. You may have saved your daughter, but can you ever save the entire world? Oh, sorry, the entire country. And then Regan just ends up with saying, you'll see. I like that. You'll see. And then Octavia goes away, and then boom. End of the story, and the movie comes to a close. So guys, I hope you loved this nice review about the Force Nation of Law and Intelligence, and let me hear your thoughts about the film and what I could still put into the film. On what I could have put in the film and or what was right in the film. I know you haven't seen the whole film stuff because really much I am focusing on premiering it to many more places, just trying to raise enough funds to make the next movie. Once the Force makes enough funding and things, I will be more than happy to have you guys watch it on YouTube. But first of all, I want you guys all to support, like, and subscribe to the video. Please, guys. The Force, I'm willing to ensure that the Force also gets to social platforms such as TV shows or studio channels and things. But yeah, we're getting there. We're moving up and up. And yeah, please let me know in the comments. Yeah. Alright, so ciao guys. Please subscribe, like, share. Yeah, and I'll see you in another video.